Tonight we are going to learn how to decorate a cake. First thing we're going to do is start out with the icing. For the icing we're going to use powdered sugar, and I have 2 pounds of powdered sugar, 2 cups of Crisco. We need some flavoring. I have almond extract. I also use vanilla extract as long as it's clear, because it would color the icing if you use the brown. Then I've got a cup of water and salt. So first thing we want to do is actually put the Crisco in. Okay, the Crisco has been mixing for about 1 to 2 minutes. It's pretty much smoothed out. So now we're going to add the almond extract. I'm going to add 1 to 2 teaspoons. If you had the clear vanilla, you would maybe do a teaspoon of each. And then we're also going to add some water. And I usually add my salt into the water to dissolve it up a little bit. And I use less than 1/8 of a teaspoon, but about like that. And I just start out by pouring a little bit in there, and then I'll turn on the mixer. And it doesn't usually mix right in, so I'm going to add the powdered sugar a little bit at a time. Go slowly because it's very messy. As it starts tightening up, then I add some more water. Okay, now I'm going to scrape the bowl. Add some more water and more powdered sugar. You just keep doing this until you've mixed it all in. Okay, as you can see, the icing is done. It's all smooth. It's about the right consistency. If you add too much water, then it makes it hard to pipe with. So as you can see, I didn't quite use a full cup. I would say probably 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup is probably what you would want to use. Okay, so everybody should have received one of these from Katie. This is actually a cake decorating kit, and it has a lot of the basic things that you need to get started. And inside you will have a pastry bag and then some scrapers. This one is used to smooth out the sides on your cake. And this is a comb that you use to make designs on the side of your cake. And this one is a bowl scraper, so you would use it to scrape icing or batter out of your bowl. This is a rose nail. This is what you make roses on, and then you transfer it onto your cake. This is called a coupler. This is used in your bag so that you can change out your tips. Also, something else you would need is spatulas, and I've got 3 different kinds. This one is just a small straight spatula. Like this one, it's a large spatula. This is the one I always use to ice cakes with. A lot of people like the angled spatula. The offset spatula is what it's called. And I do have another one at home that's a lot bigger than this, but I find it easier to ice with a straight spatula. I've got extra bags. If you're using different colors, you would want multiple bags for each color, like 1 bag for each color. Okay, now we are going to load our bag with icing. The first thing you do is you put this piece of the coupler in. You'll have, the ring will be off, this ring. Stick this down in there and just cut some of it off. Then you want to back it up a little bit, like push it backwards and make a straight cut. Don't cut too much more. You got that ready. So now you take your bag and open it up, fold the sides down, get your hand underneath it, open it up. Put some icing down in there. And as beginners, I recommend not putting too much icing in there because it comes out the back. So you'll want to pull the sides back up, and squeeze it and twist it up, and then push some of the icing out to get the air out. And then we will get one of our tips, and we're going to start with the big round tip. You put it on there, and then twist this on until it's tight. Okay, with this tip, the round one, we're going to start by just making dots. And you're just going to hold the icing bag over your surface and squeeze, and then you'll release the pressure and twist a little bit before you come off. Okay, and now I've moved on to the smaller round tip. And as you can see, I'm practicing on parchment or wax paper. That way you can just scrape it off when you're done and put it back in your bowl and practice some more. So this one I'm going to show you how to write. You basically just hold it at about a 45-degree angle and put it close to your surface and squeeze. You got to release the pressure when you're coming away so that you don't pull it with you. I find that writing in cursive is way easier because it flows more smoothly without picking up the bag. Okay, next we're going to move on to one of the star tips. And this one, you can also do the dots. They're called rosettes. You just swirl it around. So you put your tip down onto your surface, come off a little bit, and you'll squeeze and swirl it around, and then let go of your pressure before you pull away. Alright, the same tip, and we're going to do the shells like what you would do for a border. So you're basically going to have your bag tilted to the side. If you're left-handed, it'll be to this side. But you put your bag close to the surface, the tip, and then you squeeze out and kind of let it fan, and then you pull away and release your pressure to create the shell. And then you start your next one right next to that one. So you squeeze to let it fan out, and then you pull it back down and release. Okay, the next move that we're going to do with the same tip is a zigzag. So you just hold your bag to the side, and you're going to squeeze it out and then come back, and you just go back and forth. Okay, I just squeezed out the rest of my icing back into my bowl because it was getting too warm. I have really hot hands, and it warms up the icing, which kind of melts it down, and the icing doesn't necessarily stand up as well. So I've got a fresh round of icing in here, and we're going to do a reverse shell border. This is the shell, and we're going to do a reverse of it. So you're going to put your tip close to it, and you're going to swirl it one way, release your pressure, push it out, and go the other way. And you can make them as close together or as far apart as you want. Those ones are more close together, and that one's more spread out. Alright, and I'm still on the same star tip. This one is probably the most versatile tip. The most basic way to decorate with this tip is just stars. You squeeze and you release before you pull away. If you don't release it, then you're pulling it with you. So you can tuck these really close together to create a chain, and you want to try to keep them uniform. Okay, now I'm going to scrape off the surface and just start over with flowers. And it just comes right up, so you can reuse it and keep going. Okay, this is the flower tip. We're going to use the one that came from the kit that Katie gave us. And I'm just going to show you the basic rosette. These look really nice on cakes. You just put the tip on your surface and you push the icing out and go up and down. Up and down. You do it multiple times. 1, 2, 3. The leaf tip. This is what you use to put leaves on your flowers. Okay, and this one you just squeeze the pressure and then you release it to form the leaf. Now we're going to learn how to ice the cake. I've got an 8-inch cake circle and I've got my cake layer, and I'm just going to use a little bit of icing on the board to hold it in place. Push it down a little bit. I'm going to cut the dome off to make it a flat surface. I like to use a serrated knife. So you want to get a big scoop. You want to use more than you would think you would. So you just want to smooth it, push it out to the edges. And then I'm going to get some more icing and start on the sides. Try to keep it as clean as possible. And I'm putting way more icing than I would need. Just keep going until you get all the way around. You can patch up any spots that you see looks like it's missing icing. Okay, now I have the scraper from the kit, and you just want to start by just smoothing it out, barely touching the cake. I'm just using very gentle pressure to pull it and shape it. Now we're going to do the top. You just start at your edges and pull towards the center with very gentle pressure. And that's it.